What You Gotta Do is on now.
All right, good morning, and welcome to What You Gotta Do, where KT and Codie want to encourage each other and inspire others to take action in their own lives and others' lives about relatable topics. Good morning, KT.
Well, hello, Codie Hardy. You sound so good and professional.
Well, should I start over?
I love the way you talk. No, this is part of it.
Okay.
I mean, we're being real.
All right. So those of you who have braved us listening to listen to this podcast, thank you for joining us this morning. What are you drinking this morning? Are you drinking?
I did have a cup of coffee, but right now I'm drinking water because I've decided I'm going to become healthy. I have my water bottle. Speaking of which, in an additional podcast, we'll talk about this bottle of water.
and how it came to be, how it was made.
Exactly. You know, since we decided to do this podcast, and because we really feel like we have some pretty good ideas for what you got to do to get stuff moving. And so we thought, let's just record. And we get time to be together. And it's quality time. You're not taking phone calls. I don't have a spouse. This is our time to just yak and
Yes.
solve all the world's problems.
All of the problems. So one of the things that I like about this doing podcasts with you is the fact that it is the quality time with you because I moved away from you. I've had this pretty close friendship. I think we talked about it last weekend when we saw each other in person, that you said, I think I came over 3 or 4 times a week. Is that what we decided?
Dude, you were here all the time.
I was here.
Don't get us
all the
wrong.
time.
It didn't bug us. I think in years, there's like one time we said, you can't come over. We need romantic time.
Yeah, like,
But other than that, you were over all the time.
I was. It was great. I loved living near you, and I miss you. So I love that this is a way that we can stay connected. Anyway, that's fun. So today's topic is unconditional love. And what kind of inspired me to talk about this is that it's been on my mind for quite a while. But also we watched a video of somebody on Facebook talking about unconditional love and kind of called it BS. Do you remember that?
I do. And that's what got us started on this whole thing. I was like, you know what? I don't agree with her.
Yes.
Because
so
what did she say? What was her point?
her point was that if you have unconditional love, it's like you're accepting that person for everything. But I disagree with that. I think unconditional love is, first of all, it comes from within. You have to love yourself enough to be able to love someone through all the baloney, but you don't have to tolerate the baloney. That's different, right? You just have to love that person, and I think it's like good wishes almost. Like you want them to have and be their best person in their best life, and you wish them on their way for it. I hope that but it's not saying like, okay, he's a murderer and I have to love him because he was a murderer. Is this even making sense? I don't even know.
Okay, so for me, say I have unconditional love for my child or my spouse.
Yes.
Even if they murdered somebody, I would still love them. I would not support it, but I would love them and I would be there for them. But I would never lie for them or encourage them to not take accountability for their actions, but I would still love them.
Sorry, I was taking a drink. That was horrible timing.
I thought you were really thinking hard.
I was thinking too, because I think we were talking about this this sweet young couple that was traveling across the United States, and the son is being protected by the parents, right? And that's kind of how it came across.
Kind of like a Casey Anthony situation,
Yeah,
too.
yeah. So there's lots of things that we see in the media that are kind of played out, but I think what really got us talking about that is like if that was our kid, what we have done. And granted, I totally agree that it's easier to say when you're not in the emotional thick of things. It's so much easier to be outside looking in and saying they should do this, they should do that. So I understand that. I don't know all the details of the case. However, I think as a parent, it's recognizing that your child can make mistakes and knowing who they are and being close enough to them to say, you're wrong. You need to go turn yourself in. Listen, I'll be here to support you. But if you're not going to be honest with me as your parent, we're done. Because you can't. It's like being their attorney. You don't want to have them have secrets that are going to come back and kick you. And then you're like, well, I told you to tell me everything so I can help you in the best way possible. A lot of layers on unconditional love, right?
I think you're so right, though, Cody. It's so easy to say, oh, this is how I would do it. But if you're in that situation, I don't know. Regardless, back to unconditional love.
Yeah.
I can unconditionally love somebody. Like you said, I would never tolerate them beating me or berating me. It doesn't mean I would stop loving them if you truly loved them. Was it ever love? I mean, don't you feel like love is forever?
That is a good question. Is love forever?
I don't think you can stop loving somebody.
Well, you know my heart. I'm not good at stopping. I love hard, and I can't. Once you make it into the little circle, like I have a hard time letting go. What about you?
I think you're such a great example of unconditional love because there's so many people in your life
that have been unpleasant or done maybe not so nice to you and or your family.
You still love, like you don't turn your back on people and you still think about them and put out good meditation for them, whatever it is.
That's really nice of you to say.
And I think you're a really good example because I'm the kind of person that once somebody pisses me off, I'm like, oh, I'm done. And I can turn my back and walk away. But you like really hang in there and you really show compassion and love. Here, we brought it to compassion.
We brought it the C word. I think I really like that word more than unconditional love. Because I think if you approach things with compassion, you want to try to help someone. And I have realized over the last few months that I genuinely, as much as I say I don't like people, I genuinely love people. I love the energy that people have. I love knowing their stories. I love knowing where they came from. I really enjoy getting to know people and feeling that energy. And I feel like I tend to be a little bit of an optimist and a positive person. So I feel like if I can give them something positive in their life, like maybe they'll change. Like, I know that's so stupid and it's a little Pollyanna-ish, but that's kind of my approach. Like, even if it's a smile, like just smiling, I think, can change people's days sometimes. And I think if we approach people with more of a compassionate thing where you want everyone you meet to be their best version of themselves and you want them to be successful, you want them to do what makes them happy in life. And that's really kind of how my mind works, is how can I help this person be better? Like, what can I do? And I think that's why I enjoy networking, why I love all that stuff. So,
and I have to say, I really do agree with you. I love people too, and I love to see the best in them, and I love to make friends with everybody. It's really few and far between that I come across somebody that I truly don't like. I enjoy meeting people. I love hearing their stories too. But I have to admit, I do enjoy my time alone. I love making friends, but having family time is everything to me.
I was talking to my brother about unconditional love, and I think my parents did the best that they can. I don't want to knock my parents for anything that they did, but I really feel like I learned how to parent differently from people that I surround myself, like you. I think that you're a fantastic parent. My friend Karen, she's an amazing mother who, I mean, she is all about her kids. And so for me, who came from a different type of atmosphere, and I think you kind of grew up a little similar in that situation where it wasn't the most huggy, kissy, loving household.
It wasn't like something you would show on TV, like the Brady Bunch, or we didn't have that life. I don't regret the life we had, but it wasn't how most people would choose it, I guess.
So how did you bring more love into your own home?
I think my parents truly loved me and my brothers and sister. But I think because of issues, maybe sometimes it didn't come across like that. That's all I'm really going to say. But I still know that there was pure love. I think that my mom had total unconditional love. She was a sweetie.
You know, I didn't know your mom super well, but I know your dad super well. And I love his heart, and I see a lot of this in you, especially this last weekend. I saw very much similarities as far as, going fishing on the boat. Your dad just really wanted to create that experience and have it be special for us, and he really enjoyed it. And I think you really wanted to create a special experience too for him and have him really enjoy it. And it was really sweet to see that connection between the two of you and how accepting you are to people and wanting to bring them into your family in general. I know you're establishing a new family or a new community out in another state for your father, and that's not easy, but it has been so wonderful to see that come together. And it's because you're willing to just love people for who they are. Like, you don't have any pretenses or expectations, and your dad's the same way. So I can only imagine that your mom was that way too. I've heard that at her memorial service that she was like that. It's kind of cool. So you're very much like that.
I think going out to Florida and having to make new friends and stuff, I think in my life I had to become a good friend maker because my father was military and we moved all the time. And when you're a little kid, there's an age you get to where my parents never, ever, ever walked me across the street and said, "Hi, is little Susie there? Can she have playtime with Kathy?" My parents were like, "Go make friends." And we had to go do it.
Yeah.
It's scary, but when you got to do it, it's or have no friends.
Or nobody's going to do it for you.
Yeah. And I'm glad. I'm thankful for that. When I meet strangers, I feel like I'm okay with them because I'm not afraid of them. I couldn't be. I don't know.
So then how can we be, I know it's kind of a hard segue. How can we be more compassionate? I mean, do you want to be more compassionate? And that's an honest question. Do you feel like you need some more love and compassion in your life?
I think I'm surfacely compassionate. I don't go deep, but I'm compassionate on the surface.
Yeah.
Like, I generally don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, and I don't like to see people in pain. And I do see the good in everybody. It doesn't mean I have to be their best friend.
I agree. And you don't need all the friends in the world. Like, I mean, I understand that, but I came across a quote. It says it's from the Dalai Lama. I haven't fact checked this, so let's hope it is. It says, if you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion.
So true.
I think it kind of goes back to, you have to love yourself, first of all. You have to really think that and appreciate yourself and know what you're capable of doing. But I think that's true for me. That is my happiness, is when I'm serving other people and compassionate. Yeah. I'm in my best state, like most stable state, right?
Because they've always said when you serve other people, it makes you feel better.
Yeah, I see that.
When you're actually the one getting the good juju from it.
Yeah, I believe that. I think when I start to feel sorry for myself, I try to do something. It was cute. My daughter came home from school this week and she said, "Mom, I did 2 random acts of kindness today." And I said, "Well, what were they?" Isn't that so cute? Like, that's not Morgan.
That is really sweet.
I know. That was like
good.
A good mama moment. It was great.
You must have been really proud.
I was so proud of her. And you could tell that she wanted to share. It made her feel good.
And I think there's nothing better than to see your children want to serve others and be kind to others.
Yes. So my neighbor has stage 3 rectal cancer. We just moved here. I just barely met her. She has 2 golden retrievers, and her treatment just has started to really kind of turn and be really difficult. And so I texted her. I said, what do you need? Do you need your hair washed? Because she has this port that she can't wash her hair or get it wet. And I said, do you want me to come over and wash your hair? Or she's like, could you please just give my dogs a bath? And so we went and got her retrievers and gave them a bath yesterday. And I think it's just nice. Like, that's the kind of stuff I like to do, because I know that someday I will be in need, and that's somebody I could call.
Did your kids help you?
Yeah, Morgan did it, actually. She did the whole thing.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. And she saw how good it made her feel.
So she's been doing a lot of like service stuff. And she wanted to pay, of course. And I said, well, don't pay us, but you can just replace the conditioner and shampoo. Like, how's that?
Yeah,
it's fun. Beautiful. I love it. Life is good, KT.
It's very good. I was thinking about the unconditional love, which was our topic.
Oh, yeah.
And I was thinking about how there's a quote, and I don't know if it was true. It was from The Secret Life of Bees. Did you read that book?
I did read that book.
It was good.
Cute.
Do you remember when Autumn said something like, Eskimos have 34 different words for love, and maybe we should too, or something like that. And I think that, oh my God, I love your dress. is that the same as your love for your spouse or your baby?
You are right.
Like, there's so many different kinds of loves. Well, she said it. Well, the author said it. I don't even know if that's a real quote. I don't know. But
I know, but that's a great, I forgot about that. But that's so true. But to think of that in that context, like what you said, is love forever? Well, not if I love that dress, I'm not going to love that dress forever. But you're right. Like we do throw around that word. Like what does it really mean? But maybe we should have different words.
So maybe when somebody says love is conditional, maybe I should use a different word than
maybe
love.
it's just kindness. Like there's kindness, compassion. I mean, there's like, we've used a couple of those words today.
I think love is unconditional. Even lust. I think sometimes people think they're in love, but it's really lust. Just little things like that.
We've all been there.
A time or two.
Or 8. That's too funny. I like that.
I'm at a loss for words now, but so this has really been enjoyable. Do you feel like we've even given a what you got to do? Like what do you got to do?
I do. So before we maybe call to action on like what you got to do to be better at loving. I'm just going to say that word, maybe loving. That's the word. We're going to take the time to do a warm, fuzzy, and cold, prickly. Just real quick.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Okay, so warm, fuzzy, and cold, prickly. Warm, fuzzy is something positive and happy that happened to you this week. And a cold, prickly is maybe something that you could have done differently. So you have the cold, prickly this week, or on this one, and I have the warm, fuzzy. Do you want to go first, cold, prickly?
Today is Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. I've been late every single day this week to work. Every day.
I think I've talked to you most of those days.
Probably. You're on the phone with me while I'm driving to work. Okay. Okay. So I woke up early. I got up at 6. I'm still late. And I know people say all the time, well, if you're late, it means you don't care about what you're going to. Like you don't love your job. And that's not true. I really love my job. I really, really do. I'm just not a morning person. I'm not a morning person. I'm sorry. That's why I loved working remotely, because I didn't have to get up early.
I know you're not a morning person because we try to do this podcast in the morning, and it just, I remember I have to like get you up and moving and give you a couple hours to get started. And like, I just know that's not your cup of tea. Whereas I am a total morning person. I don't fault you for that. I just think everybody has kind of their own little cycle. I think it's so hard when we put people in this box of like, you have to work 8 to 5. Well, what if you are a night owl and you're really powerful? Like some people like Lex Friedman and stuff who like they do their best thinking and processing at the middle of the night from like 11 to 3 a.m. We all just work differently. Like
I read this thing saying people are more truthful the more tired they are.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if it's true.
Because they're like
stay
drunk.
up late tonight, and then you ask me if I'm lying. You'll be able to tell.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh, you would only have to keep me up past like 9:30 at night, and I'd be like,
I know you've
passed out,
fallen asleep in my home many times. I started to think I was just a really boring person. I'm like, hey, I suck.
I had a roommate in college that got mad at me because I would take naps in the student union. She would be so embarrassed. Why are you taking naps in the middle of the school? I'm like, because I'm tired. I work like all the time. I worked full time and went to school full time. And I literally, some nights only got 4 hours of sleep before I had to go to class by the time I closed. So I'm tired.
You didn't really care, right? You didn't care what she said.
I didn't care.
I can tell.
That's so funny. Okay, so my warm fuzzy, I have so many. Just, I don't know. I don't know which one to pick. Okay, so I think the warm fuzzy that I have is I was networking with 2 new women. Well, I'm new. They were new to me. We had coffee this morning. One of them is a private banker at a local bank here. The other one's a CPA. And so we were out having coffee. We're talking about who are like, just our businesses and anyway. And when I got back to my office, I had an email from one of the women inviting me to this women's symposium in November. Their company had bought a table and she wanted me to be a guest, which introduces me to like other people, which is kind of awesome. Like I didn't ask her to do that, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, but she's lucky to be able to bring you into the fold. I mean, look at you. You're the whole package. I'm not just saying that because we're recording or whatever.
I'm lucky to be in the fold. Honestly, no, I am lucky to be in the fold.
You take care of yourself.
The fact
you take
that
care of yourself physically, mentally, every way, and people see that. So it's cool. It's really cool. I brought you into my fold because of that.
Aw. You're in my fold because you can't shake me. I'm like a dingleberry. You can't shake. I'm really happy to do this with you, and I can't wait to have the next topic. So if you have any ideas or topics that you think would be relatable to, let us know. We have an email address. It's whatchagottado@gmail.com. We'll put this in the link as you receive it in your mailbox. And then we do have a phone number you could leave us a message on, which I've yet to receive a phone call. So let me give you that phone number. It's 405-877-2116 if you want to. 405-877-2116. All right. Well, and take action. Claim the freedoms that you have in your life, and you seize the opportunities as they come. Until next time, friends.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to What You Gotta Do. The music for this podcast is written, produced, and performed by Joe Steitler. Production manager for What You Gotta Do podcast and the host is Codie Hardy. Creative director is Matt Johnson. I'm KT Johnson, your co-host and editor. This has been a hell of a production.